Premarathne and Mr. Karunarathne from Department of Management and Finance, General Surgeon Kotalawala Defence University. Title is Demand for BLPL Containers, a study on export consignments of Colombo, Singapore, liner shipping trade lane.
Good morning, Chair Professor Patha, Dean of the Faculty, Head and presenters, ladies and gentlemen. Our topic is demand for BLPL containers, study on export consignments of Colombo, Singapore, liner shipping trade lane. BLPL is a company based on Singapore and they are engaged in liner shipping, and here our studies focus only on liner shipping and it is not based on the tramp shipping. And Mr. Jivaka is working for that BLPL company, and due to honorable reasons, so he couldn't come today, so I'm going to do the presentation. And as we all know, earlier sea transportation was focused on exploring the world. But however, with the development of the international trade and all, now sea transportation play a major role in commercial shipping. So therefore, we have to pay good attention for that. I mean, we have to do a lot of research and development. As we all know, when we think about the entire supply chain cost, transportation field play a major role there. That means the transportation cost is very high. So therefore, if you can reduce that transportation cost, there is a possibility to have economies of scale. So that is why we are focusing on this research. And so, as you can see here, our study is based on Colombo, Singapore liner shipping trade. And liner shipping industry is the most popular and regular business in the field of carriage of goods by sea. Therefore, this study tries to bring an empirical analysis on demand for containers of BLPL logistics, consignments of Colombo, Singapore liner shipping trade lane, because this shipping lane is very busy, therefore we selected that lane. And BLPL Singapore company primarily is one of the main NVOC carriers having a strong agent network in Indian subcontinent, Sri Lanka, Malaysia and some countries in Far East. And so this is their network. So they are operating in 50 countries and handling 40 ports and 8,000 TEUs. So that is their strength. The literature and theories shows that demand for containers is determined by factors such as container types available. So that there are different container types and the available types, and the number of containers they have, and freight rates or their cost, and number of companies and the number of vessels available to the destination. That means number of vessels from Colombo to Singapore. And so based on those information, we decide that the container demand is depend on these 5 variables: available container types, number of vessels available to the destination, number of containers available, freight rates, and number of companies. So after that, we tries to model that using linear regression analysis. And so according to that one, we assume that with available container types and demand positively related, and number of vessels available destination again positive, and number of available containers also positive, but freight rate and number of competitors are negative, and after that you have the error term. So then after that we feed our secondary data into views, and we end up with this ANOVA table. And actually earlier we thought that actually these results are surprising. So as you can see here, with available container types, we have negative and low probability value. And with available vessels to destination, yes, we was expecting positive. And here also you can see with low probability value, positive value there. And number of containers available, but very small, negative. But we can see the probability value also very high. And the freight rate also a bit positive, and probability is also very high. And other thing, competitors, there is positive value. We were expecting negative, positive, with a very, again, very kind of very low probability value. So therefore, our results are comprising. And so then we thought that we have to look into the matters in details. So that, as explained earlier, container demand with available container types negative, number of vessels positive, number of containers negative, freight rate positive, and number of companies again positive. But theory says that freight rates and the demand is negatively affected. Even we think about if we have the level of demand of low, again we can see that one. But our results that shows a bit positive relationship. And number of competitors also positive, but that I think up to a certain extent we can justify. As you all know, when we have so many banks in one place, automatically they get some kind of mutual benefits and their demand will increase. But however, with other factors, we have to justify. So therefore, we assume that we have to get the growth rate of these factors, because this is a working paper. Still, we are working on that one. We should get the growth rate of these variables, and after that, we have to test that further for multi-collinearity and heteroscedasticity and autocorrelation. We are going to test those things, and normality also. And after that, but for the moment, our conclusion is like that. Demand for content is like an iceberg. So those are the things we can see from the top are not the real factors. We have to do deep and deeper research, and what theory and literature says, those are irrelevant for Sri Lanka scenario. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Very interesting research. Time for questions.
And I have two small questions. Premarathne, your work is appreciated. Now, how did you estimate the demand?
Demand is based on those independent variables. Demand in TUs. Yes.
Now you have considered demand as the dependent variable. Then dependent variable should be given some value.
Yes.
My question is, how did you take that particular value?
Yes.
Demand.
That is a number of TUs.
Number of?
TEUs. TUs mean 20 foot units.
Are they secondary data or primary?
Secondary data. Yes.
So better to explain them in your methodology part.
Yes. Because of that 10 limits, so then I thought that.
But however, you are given 15 minutes, no?
Yeah.
So methodology part should be clearly explained. Otherwise, the audience cannot understand how you measure the dependent variable and independent variable and so on. And even you have taken available container type as an independent variable.
Yes.
What were the level of measurements? What were the level of measurements of the particular available container type?
The available type mean the number of that mean whether they have 10 types, the 2 types, 5 types, like that. So so the numbers.
It is a ratio or nominal? Nominal, no? It should be categorical.
Yes.
Yeah, if it is categorical, then for your regression model, dummy variable should be introduced.
Type, yes.
Okay, it cannot be considered as a ratio, no, the interval also.
No, it's not ratio.
Therefore, the dummy variable should be introduced to this one model. And all those things should be explained in the methodology part.
Yes.
Otherwise, the audience will be blind. The blind aspect should be reduced and the arena aspect should be enlarged through your methodology. That's my comment for you for the improvements.
Yes.
Thanks.
My question is actually, what is the number of your sample size?
Numbers 13 months. 13 months.
Then the 13 months relevant to the model, there are different parameters.
Yes.
Container demands, available container types.
5 years.
Those some measures are quantitative, some are not quantitative. No. How to measure that available container types?
Number of available container types. That means the number of types they are going to offer for the customers. That means it can be type in, yes, so whether they are offering, let's say, 3 types or 5 types, 10 types, and these are different types here. For example, number of types.
Then when there are different scales, measures, so you have to have some common measures. Otherwise, that should be comparable, no? dependent variables, independent variables. Ultimately, we have to have some particular measures. Sometimes we use some natural logarithm in order to make some that comparables, things like that. So I don't know whether you have that adjuster for that.
Nominally. Dummy, so dummy again, there are sometimes maybe 10 types, 12 types. Yeah.
Actually, as Professor Varnakuli mentioned, you can introduce some dummy variables representing the different categories, types, content types, or sometimes maybe some different industry types. Representing those things, we can incorporate some dummy variables. Then in addition, you mentioned that autocorrelation.
Yes. I didn't test it, so that is going to be the next step. We are actually, what we are going to do now, we are going to take the growth rate instead of the values, and after that, based on those growth rates, we are going to test the autocorrelation, multicolority, and heterogeneity. We are going to do that. That is the next step. It's a working paper.
What was the indexes? What was the indexes that you used for measuring the autocorrelation?
Perk test, perk test, and graphic test, yes. We are going to use that one.
What was the beta values for your 6 independent variables?
Beta values.
What is the impact of each variable on the demand?
Yes, these are the beta values. Coefficient -12, 9, 0, 0, 1,
All
4.
are not only one is
One is significant, others are with high probability value. So that is why we wonder these are not the real factors. We have to look at.
In your conclusion, you have taken that the relation between several variables and the dependent variable are positive. But only one variable is positive.
But we were expecting that negative relationship there with the freight rates and the quantity demand. But however, the results suggest positive with a very small positive value.
What was your hypothesis?
So then hypothesis we have reject.
Your hypothesis no relation between the independent variables.
Yeah, we assume that negative relationship there with negative FERA with negative, but we end up with a positive value.
Positive. B1 ABCT positive.
Positive, B4 and B5 negative.
Positive. B3 NOCA positive. These are positive. Then you have developed 5 hypotheses. No?
Yes.
Some are assuming the positive relationship and others are
Negative.
assuming the negative
Yes.
relationship.
So
In your findings, you have find only one positive relationship.
yes.
All are the negative.
Others are negative. So then other way around. So therefore, we at the moment we assume that. So these are not the real variable we are look into forecast demand.
That is why to improve your presentation and your research paper, better to specify, better to indicate your hypothesis very clearly. Then only the audience can understand them clearly and match your finding with the hypothesis. Otherwise, we will be confused.
Right.
Audience will be confused.
Yes, because that limited time, then we try. Yes.
As a researcher, the time should not be a constraint. As a researcher, if you consider time as a constraint, that particular researcher is not a good manager. So time should be taken into account when you are selecting your research problem.
Yes.
That particular research problem should be that particular research problem must be studied during that particular time. If time is taken as a constraint, it's a problem of research. It's her or himself.
Yes, that is true. Yes.
To add something, add some contribution to your future study, as the professor asked about this container situation, the different types, how it affects is, there are different types like 20-foot containers, 40-foot containers, and TEU is 20 equivalent units. So when you have 40-foot container, that is 2 TEUs. That is how that is measured. And on top of that, there are other variable containers types that are made for different commodities, like reefer containers, flat track containers, likewise. So container demand now, in earlier shipping is, if you have a ship then the ship's supply is met. But in container situation, if you have a ship, the ship supply is not met. You need to have a container as well. So that is why you get negative results there. Because although you have a ship, the exporter cannot ship the cargo without the containers.
Yes.
And containers always, they are moving, and time to time you get deficits and excess in different locations. For an example, in Sri Lanka, we spend $80 million every year to reposition empty containers. It's a problem in Sri Lanka. I think in your future studies, I think you can add that also into consideration because that is an expense to the shipping line, and at the end of the day what will happen is it is finally paid by the consumer. Shipping line, although they are paying $80 million a year, they are not going to pocket out that money. At the end of the day, it is paid by the consumer. So I think it is another point that you can add in your future research. Thank you very much. It's a very good research because since I am from the field, from the industry in shipping, I've been working in shipping for 30 years. So it's a very good report. You can I think you can do a very good findings in this report. Thank you very much.
Okay, then only one thing. Mr. Premarathne, your work seems to be very impressive, hopefully promising. But my thing is because you found that the normal theory doesn't apply to what you have researched. But the thing is, even you mentioned about an iceberg. That means there are other factors. There may be other factors which have not been explained. But the thing is, what two professors mentioned about the measurement errors. Because if you got unexpected results, one reason may be the measurement problem. If there is a serious measurement problem, then your finding cannot be accepted. Cannot be accepted. If there is, but if there are no measurement errors, then okay, we can, because it's a surprising result. Then if I believe that there are no measurement errors, and then if I take your finding as the truth, or kind of truth, then there may be moderating factors. There may be moderating factors which will cancel these relationships. Also, if you understand the intervening or mediating factors, maybe you can find a good list of unexplained variables which can be researched for your future research studies. So I wish you all the best. Okay, thank you.